Hi everyone, it's Tricia, just coming to you to share with you a few ways that I've noticed that your ego can try to take over your spirituality. So keep watching. Four ways that I've noticed that your ego can actually commandeer your spirituality or your spiritual progress. So one way is that you can about yourself. For example, I learned that I was an empath, and that was a big catalyst for me, my whole big metaphysical spiritual awakening. So let's say that was really fantastic, opened me up and in this new experience of spiritual growth for me. But you can actually over-identify with a label that may have actually been very helpful for you at the beginning. So for example, if you were to over-identify with the label of empath, then kind of start to think that, you're weak, or feel that you're a victim because you're so sensitive, or, the different things that you can do that would actually inhibit you from being able to move your growth. I mean, you could also just start to use it as a way to judge others, which is obviously very low vibrational and not very enlightened, or at least enlightening seeking, right? That's one way, over-identifying with a particular label. It could be also like starseed, or even just that you are awakened, something that I've been seeing lately as #woke. Not to say that all of that is wrong. I'm just saying, for example, over-identifying to the point where it's actually creating separation or making you feel weak or a victim-like. Another way is if you were to find yourself focusing on a tool, a teacher, or a teaching. And let's say you found this new teacher, and fantastic, so much, influx of all stuff that's going on. Your awareness and your consciousness is just clearly expanding, and you're so centered in love, blah, 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 blah. But then you start to think that maybe that this teacher, teaching, or even a group, but what I mean by group, community, or a fellowship, the same kind of thing that someone could do if they were going to church, you know what I mean? Like focusing more on the society of it, and thinking that that is the only way they is with this teacher, teaching, or tool, or fellowship, or group. I actually have a friend that happened to recently. She felt that she was actually, this is her experience, but I'm just obviously anonymously. She had to actually step away because she was spending too much time and attention. She almost felt like she was somewhat addicted to this particular group that was spiritually focused, spiritually oriented. Just honor what, and she moved away. Like I said, it's not something that I judged or discerned about her. It's something that she shared with me. And you could be placing your power outside of yourself then, if you think that this particular teacher or guru is, when you are the source, because you are God within, right? Another way that your ego can try to take over your spirituality is this feeling that you have arrived. And that kind of goes along with the point one where I said if you are over-identifying with the labels, such as the label of being awakened. What I'm referring to is when you might feel that you're a little bit holier than thou, you have all the answers. If you feel that you have all of the answers, you're not continuing to learn. It can create that separation when this whole spiritual path is about integration, integrating parts of oneself, but also to the whole, integrating to singularity, as opposed to duality. If you are thinking that you have arrived and that you are awake, and then the most enlightened person, if we have any way of judging that, would tell you that to be the most enlightened, you have to be seeking enlightenment. So it means you never arrive. We're never gonna finish becoming enlightened. Another clue that your ego is taking over your spirituality is when you sort of feel extremely protective of the belief system that you have, or you are judgmental of others or something else that is not inside your current belief system. Now, this isn't a good place to be not because absolutely every single belief into our system the second it hits us. No, if something isn't aligning or resonating with you, you don't need to accept it. But when you feel protective, like a resistance or a fear-based kind of feeling about your beliefs, or judgment, these are all resistant and fear-based and not growth-oriented. Basically, that the function of the ego, the good part of it, the benevolent part of it, or without all of the crap we add on to it with all of our fear, is that it keeps us physically alive. We are biologically resistant to change. And that is because, again, the ego is meant to keep us physically alive. And so new is unknown and is potentially a threat, because the ego believes, well, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. We haven't died yet by what? Thank you, Archangel Ariel, for the wind. Thank you. And thank you for sylphs, all the sylph elementals. The ego believes that if there's something new coming into our experience, if we haven't died yet, then why change anything? But then we have to, at some point, our ego has to relent, because it realizes that the status quo, staying exactly as it is, can actually eventually become damaging. And we get better at allowing change by sinking into our intuition and being able to, let it lead and quiet down the ego, not resist it or reject it, because the ego is a partner to us. But we still let the intuitive mind, the higher mind, lead. That's how we get good at accepting changes, really being in a place of allowance, faith. But the deal with that is the ego actually is able to be quiet enough and loud enough, and we accept change, and then we have this new burst of growth. But at some point, that growth is quo again, and so then the ego actually tries to take that over. So something else you might see is that, you have a fantastic meditation, prayer, devotional practice, but then the ego will tell you, like, coast for a little bit. You know what I mean? And the ego actually starts to do all of those things that I said, starts to protect what's going on, starts to say, no, we're an empath, nothing else. And that means this, and nothing else is allowed in. So you see what I mean? So that's why we have to keep staying in that higher mind, so we can keep creating change and allowing in our growth and move forward. I love you, fly. So I think that's about all I have today on this topic. And please subscribe, like, share, comment, and find my Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Tricia. Please watch my show live every Sunday at 11 a.m. Pacific, and you can call in and speak with my expert hosts, guest hosts, I should say. And just keep tuning in here and contributing your beautiful light to this conversation. Thank you for tuning in. I love you, whoever you are.